Hey everyone, I just want to come on here and start by saying I appreciate everyone encouragement and help that they have given me. Sorry if I sound like this, I just woke up. But I just want to make an update and also address a few things because I've been seeing a lot of, basically a lot of great comments and, blessings and stuff like that. So I do want to say that I appreciate each and every one of you that sent out those positive comments and everything. But also I've been seeing a lot of negative and, different people asking questions. And I do want to point those out, even though it don't matter and I shouldn't be worried about, what people say or what people think. But I do want to address some things because I did put my business out there to the world and I am, looking for some kind of help. So I do want to address a few things to get a better understanding. I first want to start off by saying that I'm not perfect at all. I'm still learning from my mistakes, and I have learned from some of my mistakes. And I'm also human. And I also want to say that, let me just say this. We all go through something, right? I am a full-time mom, and I work a full-time job. I work 6 days a week, 9 hours a day to be exact. And the job I'm working at is currently at Amazon. And each and every week, I sit here and I make a certain amount of money. My bills and expenses literally do not add up how much I make a month. So with that being said, on top of me taking care of 4 children, on top of my bills, plus gas, I'm trying to figure it out. Like I said, I'm still learning from my mistakes. I'm trying to figure out what's the best option. I've been going through a lot. So being by myself is kind of hard. And I can honestly say, a lot of people say, oh yeah, why you by yourself or being by yourself? I'm literally like by myself. And I'm going to tell a little bit more about that story in a second. But I just want to say those few things. So I get people say, oh yeah, you look well put together and everything. I'm not saying that I'm poor. I'm not saying that I don't have anything. I'm a single mother that's staying in an apartment, that's struggling, that's working hard, that's going through everything. I keep myself there. That's always going to be the number one thing, because at the end of the day, no matter what I'm going through, I'm going to keep myself together. But that don't mean that I sit here and I buy wigs or lashes before I sit here and don't have to pay, and don't want to pay rent. That's not the case at all. The wig that you see me have on, this has been cut and styled. My passion is hair. So yes, it might look like this is a brand new wig and everything, but trust and believe, I got a whole closet full of hair that I can sit here and change up the look or whatever the case may be. And like I said, I'm human. So yes, when I do get my paycheck, you're right. Some days I would like to treat me and my kids out to go get something to eat. Some days, yes, I will go into the beauty supply store and buy me a $5 pair of lashes or something like that. At the end of the day, I'm human. We all human. I can honestly say I haven't heard or seen anybody that sat here and worked and just to pay their bills completely without sitting here treating themselves or doing anything other than paying bills. So yes, I can honestly admit, yes, sometimes I do sit here and buy me some lashes or something like that. You're right. But that don't means I don't have my priorities together. Another thing I wanted to say, one comment has stuck out the most to me. And I get that people have questions. I get that why people wonder why I'm still stuck in this situation. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't uploaded in a minute, because I feel like I'm constantly saying the same thing. And no matter how much I'm trying, I'm still currently going through this situation. This is still my life that I'm living. I'm trying to find a way out of it. And that's why I haven't been uploading, because I want to evolve from my situation. I don't want to keep making uploaded videos, giving y'all updates, and it's basically the same thing in a different day. So that's why I haven't been uploading. Like I said, so starters, I met my kid's father at the age of 16. With that being said, my household growing up wasn't the best household. My mother and her husband that me and my sister stayed with, it was a lot of abuse, mentally abuse, physical abuse, and sexual abuse going on in my home. When we moved to the state of Georgia, I came down here with one of my siblings, one of my sisters that I grew up with from birth, and my mom, excuse me, my mom and her husband. We all came down here to Georgia. With that being said, the household me and my sister were staying in was very toxic. It, like, I still have PTSD from my childhood. And my sister, one of my other sisters that was down here in Georgia at the time, her kid's father is basically my kid's brother. So at the time, I was staying with my mom, and my sister didn't even know what was going on. None of my family knew what was going on in our household, nothing like that. I was always the child to sit here and say, I'm not going to keep secrets. I know this is wrong. Like, this is crazy. So I would sit here and always get into arguments and fights with my mom's husband because I'm just like, this is not right. We're supposed to sit here and be quiet as teenagers, as kids. And like, this is not what's going on. It's not right. So I would always sit here and try to speak up. So when my sister, I told my sister, a little bit was going on. I didn't tell her completely everything was going on. She told me, if you come stay with me, I will get you to be a emancipated adult, something like that. I will get you all the benefits you need, because at the time, I was pregnant with my first daughter from the year of 2011. That's when we had moved to Georgia from New York. So I was pregnant with my first child. My first child's father, let me backstory from there. When I was in New York, my mom had gave us a curfew because everything that was going on in our lives. She had told me and my sister straight up like this: I don't care what y'all do. Mommy know that this household is crazy. So I'm going to give y'all a curfew just to get out this situation. She said, just be safe, call me, and come home when you're supposed to. So me and my sister used to go to our friend houses as teenagers. We used to go to our friend houses. I had a best friend that was in New York, so me and her would sit here and go out to parties and stuff like that. Of course, I'm being a fast teenager, so when I found, a boy that I like, me and him started having sex and stuff like that. I never once used unprotected sex. The night that I got pregnant, basically he had took off the condom, and he basically came out in the mid, during that time when I did find out I was pregnant, that he did take off the condom and stuff like that. So I never was the type of teenager that just sit here and run wild and free and everything. Most of the time I was with my best friend, and I just so happened to get caught up with a boy and wind up getting pregnant. So my mom, she was never a strict mom. She was like one of them lenient moms, and I think it's the reason why, because I think she felt sorry for what we was going through and what her husband put us through. So she didn't I really don't know, to be exact. This is what I thought, because my mom was just such a fun mom, and she just she tried to please us more than she tried to sit here and, be strict on us, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know. And I still don't know to this day. So my mom, literally, when I found out I was pregnant, my mom gave me an option. She said, you either continue on going to school or you raise this child. Me being a teenager and wanting somebody to love on, and I knew that I was pregnant and this would be my baby, yes, I'm going to sit here and say, oh, yes, I want to raise a child. And my mom giving me an option to don't go to school or whatever, which that sounds crazy, and I look back on it, I wish I should have never did that. I should have just sat here and continued on my school career and stuff like that. And that's the option that I went for. So when I moved to Georgia, my sister had told me she was going to help me since I was pregnant with my first child and I could be an emancipated adult. And she told me she was going to help me with getting me, all these benefits and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be. So I then moved with her and her family, and I was staying with her. And at the time, that's when I had met my kid's father, which is her kid's brother. I met him during the family cookout and everything. And he basically was just like, he would, if we move in together or whatever, he would take care of me and my child and stuff like that. So he was old enough at the time. He was older than me at the time. I'm sorry. So he was, I think when I met him, he was 27, I want to say 27 when I met him. And yeah, it sounds crazy, a 16-year-old dating a 27-year-old, but at the time I didn't think of it like that. Yeah, and I guess nobody didn't see it like that. I don't know. But at the time, yeah, he the one who sat here and took me about that situation. I always had a job. My first job was Waffle House. I was working at Waffle House. He had got him a job. And when we both had a job, we was working, stacking up, saving money. I always helped my sister out, whatever what she needed to help out with, until me and him got our first apartment. From on there, we got our first apartment. That's when things started getting crazy with my mom. Like I said, no matter what I went through with my mother, or whatever, like, what situation happened, I never held that against my mom, because that's my mom and I love my mom. So every time a situation happened between me and my mom's husband, I would be the one who sit here and be like, I'm trying to get her about that situation and everything. Moving forward, my mom's husband was a smoker, which caused her to have a lung infection because she was being around secondhand smoke. So I don't know if I made a video in my past videos about what happened to my mom, how she passed away, but basically she passed away originally from a heart attack, but she also had a lung infection. And that's how she became sick and stuff like that. So when that happened, my mom's husband will always sit here and be in a room with her, talk down on her, saying that her body don't look right, she's ugly, she should die, nobody don't want her, and stuff like that. Me and my kid's father used to always have to come to her home just to give her meals and stuff like that, because he will always take her money and stuff like that. So when I got my own apartment, I told my mom she could move in with me and my kids and stuff like that, just to get about that, let her to get about that situation. But of course, she went back to her husband. So basically, my kid's father took me about a horrible situation. When I say horrible, this man that my mom was with used to wake me up in the middle of my sleep just to talk crap, saying how much he hoped we die and stuff like that, and make us clean up, pour water in our beds and stuff like that. So yes, when I find somebody to get me up out that situation, you dang right, I'm gonna sit here and run for my life, because that situation was horrible. My mom's husband sexually assaulted me and my sister. And my mom sat here and told us as teenagers to forgive him, because she didn't want to get in trouble, and she didn't want him to get in trouble. And she made it seem like we was going to get taken away, mommy was going to go to jail and stuff like that. So guess what? I don't want to see my mom going to jail. I love my mom at the time. So I didn't decide to sit here and try to press charges on him or tell anyone, because that's how our household was. It was a secretive household, no matter what. And that gave him the opportunity to control our lives and control that household and everything he can do in his power to control us. So once I sat here and my mom gave us the opportunity to leave out, we took that opportunity, and he was mad because at the end of the day, he couldn't control me and my sister no more. So that's why I decided to move forward with my kid's father. So moving forward, me and him always had an apartment. I always kept a job. And no matter what, I stuck by his side, because that was who I was as a woman. And I get that I might be sitting here sounding crazy, or I sat here and stuck by him, through whatever. But at the time, I didn't have nobody, none. My sister, she helped me from here and there. But other than that, I didn't have nobody. Raising a family at a young age. So I think that's mostly why I stayed with him for so long, because I didn't want my family to be, raised in a single home. And at the time, we both had 2 good jobs. We both was making money. It was just that he was an alcoholic, and he always depended on his family, and, it was just stuff that came with it. But I always dealt with it, and I think that's why I stayed for so long. And yes, I might be wrong for staying for so long, but once again, I'm human. I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm learning from that. And I don't regret having my kids. I don't regret nothing that I did. But I can say I regret for sitting here staying for so long. You're right. Another thing, so basically, me and my kid's father stayed together. Like I said, he was an alcoholic. He wasn't a bad dad at all. It's just the things, his ways, alcoholic, that played into trust, cheating, everything. So moving forward, when all of that started to happen, and yes, I had multiple kids by him. Yes, like I don't know. I guess you could say I was dumb in love. I don't know. You're right. I don't know. But I do want to address that. I do want to take accountability of what I've been through and what I did wrong. And yeah, I do want to take accountability of that. So I done lost track about what I was going to say, but that's just giving a little backstory. So basically, I tried taking my mom in. She didn't accept it. She wanted to be with her husband. So basically, the week that she passed away, and me and my sister only know this because she only called me and my sister a week before she passed away. She called us telling that how he took her disability check that month. He didn't feed her. My mom couldn't walk. She was on a breathing machine. So she couldn't go down the steps and eat, nothing like that. And a week before she passed away, I literally brought her some food, brought her some cash, and I was pouring down crying because when she asked me to get her in the bath, that was my first time ever seeing her out like naked without her clothes. My mom always wore like double pants or whatever, multiple clothes, and I understood why, because when I saw her undressed, literally, she was like skin and bones, literally, no exaggeration. Like I saw her rib cage, everything, and that's what broke me down, because I never knew how bad my mom was, like sick my mom was, because she never like I said, she never showed her body really. She always wore like stuff like this, like multiple clothing, so you can't never tell. So that broke me into pieces. So when she passed away a few days later, I automatically reacted because I knew what she told me with with her husband. I knew what we've been through. I automatically reacted because I said, this man killed her. Like, she literally was in that room 24/7 with nothing to eat, nothing like that. And he knew everything. He used to take her money, leave, days at a time and everything like that. And I knew what she used to tell me and my sister. I knew what we've been through. So, I automatically react because I'm like, dang, like, all I wanted me and my mom to be out this situation. I just wanted to get away from this man and everything. And now she's gone. So that really messed me up, and it still messed me up still to this day. I still sit here and I have dreams about, it's crazy because I always have dreams about this certain apartment that we was in, and the dream would play out like always the same, but it would try and make a twist at the end, and I never understood why. And I'm still, grieving and still going through that situation of, PTSD of what I've been through as a child. So I think that's one of the main reasons why I stuck with my kid's father, is because I know I wanted to have a family and I didn't want my kids to be raised up without a father. So I felt like, oh yeah, I'm strong enough. I can stick through, our house is great. The kids is great. They don't see what's going on between mommy and daddy. So I think that's why I stayed for so long. Throughout all the BS that he put me through, all the cheating that he put me through, I think that's why I stayed for so long. Moving forward, before I got locked up, nobody didn't know, not even his family. Me and my kid's father had multiple conversations about separating because it was so toxic. Like I said, he was a great father. Income, he was a welder at the time before I got locked up. So income never was the problem. I always was the type to sit here and have another job, which he always told me to go back to school. But I always wanted my own money and everything. So I always sat here and had a job just because. So that part wasn't the problem. The problem was him being an alcoholic, which led to messing up my babysitting. So now I have to find a babysitter because guess what? When he get drunk, he don't come home until the following afternoon, or he don't come home or whatever. And that played into a lot. Or if he do come home, I always walk in from a 12-hour shift. Walk in, he's slumped on the couch, or my front door is open while he sleeps. So that was a main issue. So me and him had multiple conversations about separating. The year of 2021, I'm going to say, the beginning of the year of 2021, me and him had separated. Nobody didn't know this, not even his family, nothing. We had separated, but we decided to stay in the same household due to our circumstance of, not trying to have somewhere to go right now, whatever, everything is good. We just gonna keep it like that. So me and my kid's father was separated at the time. I ain't gonna say broken up, but we were separated until we able to get our situations together and basically find out if we still want to be with each other or not. Like I said, I got tired. That's when I got completely tired. To feel lonely in your own home, that's when I got completely tired. Like, I was sleeping in my kids' room. My kids would sit here and go to school, or my kids would be outside playing, and I'll be in a room by myself. He never once came and checked up on me, nothing like that. So when you feel lonely in your own home, yes, it's time for a change. Yes, like, I got tired. So that's when I had sat here and talked to the same sister I told you about that got me onto benefits and stuff like that. I had talked to her and I asked her, like, hey, do you know any resources where I can go find help, any shelters that's near me? Because when she was down here in Georgia, she actually in Maryland now, but when she stayed down here, she knew, different resources and where to go and stuff like that. So I called her and I asked her, like, hey, where's, this and this to get help or whatever. She then told me to look up this place that she went to. My light went off. Oh, well. But she did, let me get out. She told me to look up this place that she went to or whatever. I'm sorry, guys. I'm in my car because it's more quiet in here than in the house. But yeah, she didn't tell me to look up this place. It was a transitional housing program that was up the street from me. I looked that up. I told the people my situation, and they had accepted me in. I left everything. Rent was paid up. I left everything at the home just so I could find my peace and my sanity for me and my children, because I could not take working a 12-hour shift at the time, coming home to drinking, family being in my yard, music playing, my door opening back and forth. I couldn't do that no more. So I decided to pack up my stuff and pack me and my kids' stuff up and leave from that situation. Like I said, we were separated. We were trying to figure something out. But I mentally, if I would have got there one day, I would have sat here and probably been on Snap or something. That's how fed up I was, because it was just so mentally draining. So I went to the transitional housing, got help. Like I said, I'm learning from my mistakes. Yes, I still love the man. I still cared for him. So, of course, even though I left that situation, of course, I'm still going to check up on him each and every day. I'm still going to sit here and act like, I care for him and stuff like that. So even though we were separated, I wasn't living there, I still would come there on the weekends. My kids would still, visit their dad. We'll still be in the house cooking. I would cook for him, act like I'm still staying there, but I'm just not staying there. So, and I think I had made a video of this, the reason why I got locked up and stuff like that. After I got locked up, that's when I said I got to cut all ties, friendship, whatever I have with him. Mind you, I still had a job and everything. Once I got locked up, that changed my whole life. Lost jobs and stuff like that because I had plenty a pending charge and stuff like that. He was a big help as far as taking care of my kids. Because once I moved away, I got my own apartment, and we was co-parenting, strictly co-parenting, no phones involved, nothing like that at the time. So we was co-parenting at the time, and he worked morning shift 9 to 5, and I worked night shift. So when I go to work night shift, he would come over my house. He never once sat here and spent the night just because. It will only be strictly to watch my children while I go to work. He would come over my home and watch my kids every single night. Because like I said, we didn't have no babysitter. I couldn't afford a babysitter right then and there, because now I'm a single mom or whatever the case may be. And yeah, he helped me with support and stuff like that, but things was just a lot better for him to watch my kids instead of having a babysitter. He would come over every single night, stuff like that. The day that I found out that he sexually assaulted my child, a few days prior to that, me and him had got into a big old argument because, like I said, he was an alcoholic. He done lost multiple cars because he was an alcoholic. So me and him had got into a big argument because the car that he had, he got drunk one night and ran off the highway. So the whole front, rear, whatever was messed up. So I told him, I said, you know, hey, my daughter just scared me. So basically I told him, like,